Hey guys, so today I'm going to be going to the grocery store to get ingredients for a recipe that I read about in Dracula. Bram Stoker's Dracula. Is that right? First of all, let me just say, Dracula, kind of boring. I mean, it wasn't nearly as scary as I thought it would be. There's some like shock factor in there somewhere, but it was not. Anyway, one of the things that I really do love about reading is that people will talk about food and I'll be like, I've never heard of that. And so then I Google it and I figure out how to make it. One of my favorite recipes in all the world is mushroom soup. And that was something that I read about like as a throwaway line in a fan fiction. Anyway, I'm going to take you with me. Okay, so we're here and I realized I didn't tell you what we're going to make. We're going to make chicken Hendl, which is in like the first couple of pages of Dracula. And it's a chicken paprika meal. And so I looked up several different recipes, and so what we're going to make is Leah's chicken paprika. Now that all the groceries are put away, I'm going to show you what we need for this recipe. It looks involved. I don't know. I've never made it before, so this will be an adventure together. We have an onion, sour cream, an orange and a yellow bell pepper, better than bouillon chicken base, which I'm going to use that for more chicken flavor and also for my salt, paprika, half a jar of green chilies, a little red wine. I'm going to use 3 cans of whole potatoes instead of boiling and dicing up my own potatoes. 2 cans of whole stewed tomatoes, 2 cans of tomato paste, chicken stock, cayenne pepper, butter, minced garlic, and black pepper. So I'm putting butter in the pan. It's not hot yet. I do have it set on medium, but the butter can stay at room temperature. So you don't have, it doesn't have to be cold, and it's kind of fun to play with butter like this. So I'm just laying that down in my pan. You can see it in the pan here. And I'm going to take these chicken thighs. I'm going to put them so that it would be skin down. These are boneless, skinless thighs, but the smooth part where the skin would be rather than where the muscly part, well, it's all muscle, but the part where it's obviously been taken off the bone, I want to have that up. I want the skin down. So we're going to start skin down here. Again, my pan's not hot yet, so, I mean, it's warming up. You wouldn't want to do this once it is warm, but, I mean, you wouldn't want to stick your hand in there like that with your fingers touching the bottom. So we're just going to load them in there. I'm going to try not to overcrowd my pan, but I'm making this for me and a couple of people at work. So I want to make sure I have plenty, so I'm going to use all of my thighs here. Okay, just opening them up. They usually like fold them in on themselves. Here we go. So we're just going to set this here. Okay, I touched chicken, so I'm going to wash my hands. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my splatter screen on. I have it on medium heat. We're going to try that first. We'll see how that works out. And normally you would go ahead and season your chicken. The recipes I read don't have you seasoning the chicken just yet. So maybe when we flip it over, we'll put some seasoning on it then. But there's so many seasons in the sauce that maybe we won't season the chicken at all, and it'll just be buttery chicken, which you can't go wrong with buttery chicken. In the meantime, I'm going to chop my peppers and my onion. So I'm just going to chop off the top, bottom, slice it down one of the ridges. Okay, and then I'm just going to unroll it. It's much easier to cut a pepper skin down. So I'll show you that real quick. Just cut it into slices here. Okay. And then I'm going to make these into strips rather than dicing them. So just use your knuckle as your guide, and you won't slice off a finger, I promise. Okay. So this is not really a julienne. It's a little big for julienne, but it's a julienne-esque kind of slice. I'm going to do that to both of my peppers. Okay, so I've just sliced up my second pepper, and the only thing I like to go to waste when I cut bell peppers are the seeds and the ribs on the inside. So I'm actually going to go ahead and slice up the caps and the bottoms of these peppers too. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just I cut them off to make it easier to slice them, and then in the end I just save them to cut them later. So onions are fun because you get to peel them. They're like birthday surprise. Top and bottom. Here's an easy way to peel your onions, especially if you're going to be slicing them. Just right down the middle. This is an awkward and random show, so the camera falls over. This is a very sharp knife, so we'll go right through it. And this makes it so much easier. Just find the first layer that really just does not want to stay on and peel. Ooh, that one's fine. This one stay on. There you go. Just peel it. Just up a little there. Here. This one is being difficult. There we go. Now remember, we're just slicing these. So it's just going to be slice. If you don't like onions, you don't have to put it in here, but I would suggest that you use at least onion powder. Because I think the onions provide a flavor that nothing else can provide. And if it's the texture for you and not the flavor, onion powder or even minced onion, like dried minced onion, is a good way to go. So anyway, here we are. We're just slicing our onions here. Slice them pretty thin because onions do tend to take a little bit longer to cook, in my opinion, than bell peppers, at least in my experience. There we go, my onions. Now, we have julienne onion and slices of pepper. And over here, we have the chicken. So I'm gonna, that meat's starting to look, it's getting ready to turn over. And look at, that butter. Whew. Okay, so there's getting a little bit of brown on it. I'm going to give it another couple of minutes. Let that real brown flavor, let that crust start to build up a little bit longer before I flip them. Yeah, see how that's gotten sort of a caramel color on it now? That crust flavor is in that crusty caramel brown. And it's even better if you can see, I don't know if you can, but right there in the pan where it's gotten on there, especially if you plan to deglaze later, and we do, you want to build that up. You want that crust in there because it's going to bring flavor throughout the whole dish. So wait, have the patience. I mean, the chicken may be ready to flip over as far as like temperature and doneness, but you want that flavor. So go ahead and be patient. It is time for us to take these beautiful pieces of chicken out, and we're going to put them in another vessel for a minute because we've got more things to do in this pan that have nothing to do with chicken. So we're just going to go ahead and move them over here and let them sit. Whee! Now that all the chicken is removed and is now in our waiting vessel, I just want us to take a second to appreciate all that beautiful fat that's sitting in that pan and all that beautiful crust. There's a word for it, and I don't know it because I can't remember. But this beautiful fat and crust is going to help us deglaze all our beautiful vegetables. Oh my goodness, look at all of that. I'm going to get them all in there. And now here is a little trick that I like to use to help kind of speed up the process of wilting onions, sweating onions, deglazing. First we have to just make sure that we're just getting everything covered in that glorious butter and what fat there was on the boneless, skinless thighs. Just get it all covered, every single one of these pieces covered in gorgeousness of that fat that we looked at and we just took a moment to appreciate. Okay, beautiful crust. All right, so I like to, and this is probably not the right thing to do, but I like to add a lid because now it's sauteing, it's also steaming. It just makes it go faster in my opinion, in my experience. So I just stirred my peppers and onions and I decided that I would turn it down a little bit. So it's on medium-low heat now. I put the lid back on. And this next step, you don't necessarily have to do it the way I'm going to do it. You could just do it directly into the pan once your peppers and onions are done. But I thought, I think I want to do it this way. You know, better for you to see it. So I am going to put all of my spices and the tomato sauce and the garlic in this bowl and mix them up together in here rather than trying to do that around the peppers. So we're going to go ahead and just get all this out. It's going to be very tomatoey, which is not bad. I like tomatoes. So again, 2 of these little tomato pastes. Probably don't need all of it, but you know, once you use these tomato pastes, unless you have something else that you're using to make tomato paste with, you know, and I like tomatoes, so you could probably get by with just one of these if you didn't want it to be overtly tomatoey. So there we go. All right, there we are. Now I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of paprika because it is Paprika Hendl. It is pepper chicken, so I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of paprika. Oops. And paprika is just bell peppers that have been dried and then ground down into a flour. I want 3. That's the great thing about cooking, is that if your spirit says you want 3 tablespoons instead of 2, then that's okay. The only thing that I would suggest that you maybe not do that with is onion and garlic, because they can be pretty bitter, pretty rough on you. All right. Now, this is cayenne pepper. I am going to do 2 tablespoons of it because I'm also going to use black pepper. So I don't care if it gets a little bit around the spoon. Like, just a little extra cayenne's fine. Okay. And I am going to do cayenne pepper, or black pepper, to taste. That looks like a teaspoon and a half. And then minced garlic. You know what? Let me rinse this off. Minced garlic. A heaping tablespoon. Okay. Boop. And half a can of green chilies. It's going to be so many kind of peppers in there. Green chilies, bell peppers, paprika. I'm very excited about this. Okay. Now also, I said we were going to use a little bit of red wine. And we are. So I chose the sweet red because I actually don't like red wine. It smells like a red wine. I'm sure it'll be fun. So a 4th cup of red wine. To start, we'll see where we go. Because what we're going to do here with this sauce is we're going to put it in the pan and then we're going to cook it down so that it's not completely dry, but pert near it. Pert near dry. So now you see what I have here, a mixture. It's still pretty gloopy. There is going to be moisture from the onions and the peppers in the pan, but I still feel like maybe I need to put another little bit of wine in there. Ooh, maybe not. Okay, I don't know. This is an adventure. This is cooking. It's fun and it's been adventurous, and we're doing it together for the first time. Aren't you happy? Like, I would rather watch someone who knows what they're doing. Yeah, well, then why did you choose the Awkward and Random Life channel? Just kidding. Please choose me again. Okay, so now we're kind of wet sand. I'm gonna go 1 more 1/4 cup. So that is 3/4 of a cup of red wine. Don't worry about the alcohol though, it will cook out. And then, okay, yeah, that looks good. That looks good. All right, do you see it? Okay, so we're like, this is like the sand after you've dug up the sand, and then the top layer of sand, and then you get that real gooey kind. You know, you can't build anything with it, but it's nice to play in. So that's what we're gonna use for our sauce. And it's not, you know, it's not watery, but remember, we still have chicken stock. It's coming. It'll make it. That smells good. Yeah, I like that. Ooh, I like that. Oh, I'm excited. Yay. I'm just gonna start my peppers here. Ooh, look at it. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm terrible at angles, but look at these. Look at how good they're looking. The onions are looking pretty good. The peppers are nice and limber. I'm gonna put the lid back on. I'm gonna give it another 3 minutes, and then we're gonna put the sauce in. So I tasted the pepper tomato paste sauce. By the way, I do have it in there. I do intend to stir it, but I wanted to say this. I tasted it. If you didn't want to use alcohol, or if alcohol is something you're trying to avoid, I feel like you could probably use red grape juice and some red wine vinegar, and it would have the same sort of flavor to it. So that's exciting. Okay, so now I have this in here. I'm just going to stir it in there, and you can see that can you see that? Can you see that there's some, like, already some moisture in there? So we're going to put that in there and stir it up. And actually, I'm just going to set you down here so that you can see what I'm doing. All right. We're going to stir it up here. All of that in there together. Ooh, look at that. It's really there goes some of that moisture. It's really starting to smell delicious in here. Oh, the onions, they're translucent. The peppers, they're pliable. And now that we have our tomato paste, delightful surprise. I really did not know that I was going to love it that much. Already, I could just make that as like a pasta sauce, really, for sure. I mean, that is good. I may have to do that one day. I am going to add now chicken stock. About half of the box here. So that would be 16 ounces. Okay, oh yeah. And we're going to let this cook. I'm going to stir it all in there. We're going to let this cook again so that it's not dry, but it doesn't have pools of liquid. You can see where I'm stirring it. There's pools of liquid. We don't want it to be dry. We don't want to burn it. You can't have a Leah video without having the dogs in it somewhere, and he has been begging to go outside since I've started this whole process, and apparently just so he could roll around in the grass. Here's the other two. Hello, you can stay outside. I bought them a new bowl today. Chilling with my dogs. Now you don't have to stand here and just constantly stir this, but do frequently stir it because this is so heavy. The heat will get trapped, and if you don't stir it, then it's going to cause your food to burn. And where brown food is good, black food is nasty. You don't want burned food, so make sure that you're stirring it. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to turn my oven on to 350, and we're going to let it preheat. You're thinking, Leah, didn't you say something about better than bouillon chicken earlier? I did. So I have a cup of water and a teaspoon of better than bouillon chicken. And remember, our chicken is sitting here. I'm just going to go ahead and pour that on there. Sort of slosh it up all together. I've made a game time decision. Now, if I had only used like half of the portions that I used when I was making this, and thinking about it now, people were using whole chickens. But I mean, I used like 7 thighs, 6 thighs, I don't know, a lot of thighs. But I don't think I'm going to be able to get the tomatoes, the potatoes, the thighs, in this delicious broth that they're now swimming around in this pan. So, game time decision. I have decided that I'm actually going to put them in a baking vessel that will hold it all. It's fine. It's fine. Again, we're on an adventure. It's the first time I've made this. We're doing this together, y'all. So, hey, let's try it. Another confession. At this point, I think it's important to tell you that I've just sort of abandoned the recipes because I've read so many of them. I'm just kind of doing it how I feel like I need to do it. So I'm going to pour some of this broth up in here. And because it is dry, you can see that it was dry. We're going to use all of it eventually. But, oh, there's the oven. It's ready for me to put it in the oven. Or the oven's ready for it. It's not ready. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, look at that. That's pretty. Oh, man. So pretty. It's going to be so good. I'm so excited. Sour cream. That's 2 tablespoons. Another 2 tablespoons. Another 2 tablespoons. 6 tablespoons. What is that? 2 tablespoons is an 1/8 cup. So, you know what? Let's just so that math is easier. 1/4 cup of sour cream. Look this one. Sour cream. I'm gonna work that in there. There's more room to work it in because I did pour some of that broth in there. Here's the thing about cooking. Once you know a few things, like you need room, like liquid, to work in something like sour cream, you can read a recipe and then just sort of do it how you feel. So this may not be the traditional Hungarian Paprika Hendl. We know it's not because I'm not using a whole chicken and breaking it down. I'm just using chicken thighs. It may not be the way that a Hungarian granny would make it in her own kitchen. But I know a few things, and I know how flavors work, and so I'm just doing it the way I wanna. Can I still call it that? Sure I can, because it's still peppers and chicken. Look at that. Praise God. I mean, not to offend anyone out there who's not a Christian, but you got to know from my accent, I'm a Southerner, Bible Belt, cradle Christian kind of girl, and praise God, this is just looking phenomenal. Wow. All right, next step, gonna put the chicken. Next step, gonna put the chicken and the remaining broth in the bottom of this here baking dish. I haven't put any butter or anything in it. It's fine. It'll be fine because there's enough moisture in there that it's not going to burn. There's enough butter and chicken from the fat from the chicken, that it's not going to stick. Well, look at that. You can't see it from that angle. Let me show you though. Look at how that just, it's like it was meant to be. It's like it was meant to be. I'm going to flip you over though. Okay. And rest of that chicken broth. Alright. Now we'll put in my drained can of potatoes. Remember, I'm putting in 3 because I like the starches. Oh yeah. Can you? Do I need to bring it over closer to you? I don't know if I can. Alright, can you see? I've got a layer of chicken, a layer of potatoes. Okay. My stewed tomatoes, and I have drained them mostly. So my stewed tomatoes kind of go all over there. For a pepper dish, it sure did call for a lot of tomato stuff. Okay. This is gonna, I just know this is gonna be the best thing ever. Okay, and now the paprika part of it. Ooh, hey, don't, nope. Stay in the baking dish. weird. At some point I was supposed to put flour in it. It's probably to thicken it up. Nah. Not concerned. Turn the eye off. Poke that potato down in there. Make sure I get it covered up with stuff. Ooh, man. Yeah. Look at that. I don't know if it's going to taste good, but it sure does look pretty. Seriously, this sauce though could be a tomato sauce, like a pasta sauce. Okay. There we are. I'm going to give it 20 minutes in the oven. 20. I'm sure you don't care to watch me put it in the oven, so just there it is. It's in the oven. It really is in the oven. I guess it's about to storm outside because this one crawled up in my lap and was like, "Mama, I need pets." So, bless her. You okay? You alright? She's okay. We're in the house. We're safe. For whatever reason, though, thunder still upsets her. Here we go. Ooh, look at that. Oh my. Oh, it's okay. It's a siren. Okay, so that's what it's like to live with dogs. Look at that crust. Ooh, the tomatoes. All right, hang on. Would you look at that? Would you just look at that? It's got like a not crusty, but like a dried top, like on a really good meatloaf. That's got sort of a dried top to it, kind of like you would have on a really good meatloaf. I'm gonna have to let it rest because it's meat, so you got to give it some time to rest. I'm gonna give myself 10 minutes to wait. I'm gonna wait 10 minutes. Paprika Hendl. I'm putting on a sweater because the temperature's dropped because the storms are brewing. And I'm excited because I have this very warm dish. Do you see? It's very, look. Now I can see, because it's kind of, the sauce is a little watery, I can see where adding a tablespoon or two of flour would have thickened that up. Or if I had some bread, I could, dip it into the sauce. So here it is, the long-awaited obligatory taste test of this adventure that we've been on together. Paprika Hendl. Wow. It's wow. No wonder it was written about in a book, and like in the book it was like memo. Get the recipe for Mina. This is sweet from the bell pepper, tangy from the wine, earthy from the onions and the potato. The chicken is not dry. It is so good, and the tomato just brings it all together. This is just, and then at the back of it with the paprika, the cayenne pepper. Read a book, see what they're eating, make it for yourself, because there is nothing about this that is bad. I mean, this is so wow. Okay, I'm gonna have my dinner. I love you guys. Bye.